Eric Garner's life matters. Andrew Kearse's life matters. We stand united against police brutality. That's why we're here. That's why we fight shoulder to shoulder. Angie, tell people a little bit about your husband.
Andrew was 36 years old. He just came home from doing 2 years, in jail, and lasted only 15 days. And he went up to Schenectady to see a friend, and for a random traffic stop, he got pulled over and they placed him in the cop car. And several times he stated he couldn't breathe. He says, I'm feeling dizzy. I'm getting numb. Can you help me, please? I'm begging you, please help me. And each and every time, Officer Mark Weeks denied him the medical attention that he needed. Andrew died 1 minute before he got to the police station. You literally see him in this dash cam. You see death in his face. Not once did he call for medical attention. Not once did he check his pulse. Not once did he do anything. He placed Andrew on the concrete, and you see all these officers come out the Schenectady Police Department, and they're drinking coffee and they're laughing and still not calling an ambulance. From that day forward, I said, I'm gonna be his voice.
Yes.
I'm gonna be get him justice. I promised him, and it's been a 3-year fight. Finally, on Monday, the Andrew Kearse Act was passed, and now these officers will be held accountable. They will have a civil charge right now. But with your help, Miss Elizabeth Warren, you is gonna go national, and then Andrew his death will not be in vain, and we could save so many, and he will be living on in history.
The Andrew Kearse Act that I'm sponsoring in Congress, so that all across this nation says that someone who's in custody is entitled to medical care if they need it. And the failure to do so would be wrong, would be a crime. So Emerald, talk a little bit, if you would, about your dad and about the proposed legislation there.
My father, he was our everything. My mom and my dad together has 6 children. I'm the youngest girl, so I consider myself baby girl. That's what my father called me. So that's gonna be.
I'm a baby girl too. I know that one.
See, it's a beautiful connection, and
it
no one
is
can take that title away.
Between a daddy and his baby girl. Yeah.
Yes, and when my father passed away, I was 22, and immediately when everything happened, we got national attention, but it wasn't enough for national change. So when the Eric Garner law was introduced last year by Hakeem Jeffries, I was like, yes, this is it. This is going to be the pivotal moment for us where we're going to get justice, because the murderer of Pantaleo, he wasn't fired. He wasn't fired until 5 years later. He wasn't criminally held liable for my father's murder. And I thought that cop should have went to jail for murdering my father. And unfortunately, we will never be able to go after him criminally. And justice for me means having these bills and legislation in place. My sister, Erica, she passed away at 27 from a massive heart attack. She left behind a 4-month-old and an 8-year-old who I'm now taking care of. And I have to one day explain to them what happened to their grandfather and what happened to their mother. And what happened to their mother was a direct result of what happened to our father. So it's like, I don't want to keep losing people. Our loved ones should be here. My father shouldn't have been killed. Andrew shouldn't have been killed. So we fight for those. And justice to me means having a piece of legislation that my children can look on to say, you know what? I lost my mother. I lost my aunt. I lost my grandfather. But we didn't lose his memory. We didn't lose his legacy, because this won't happen again. So with the legislation, with the push for national change, with the push for police reform, that is where the change is going to happen, and that's where we're going to see justice.
Yeah. How about for you, Angie? How did it feel when Governor Cuomo signed into law the bill named after your husband?
Yeah, it felt so many emotions, so many, I felt so happy and excited, and I was crying, and I told the kids, and I said, your daddy's law got passed. And they're like, oh, wow, mommy. They're like, you thank you for pushing so hard.
Angie, you and Emerald have been willing to get out and fight, to tell your stories over and over. And you've been so important in the movement against police brutality. What can the rest of us, what can all of us do to help lift up your work?
Everybody could go to all their politicians and state that they want these laws to pass. If the Eric Garner law passes and nationally, no one could have the chokehold, and he will say Eric, the way he passed away, will save so many. When the Andrew Kearse Act passes, if anybody's in any kind of medical distress, they will be held accountable. Even the Severin Clark law, once it passes to federal, if anybody's running, no officer could shoot them in the back. So these three legislations are so important that it needs to pass. And everybody needs to go to each and every elected official and say they want these three laws to pass. Point blank, period.
So the first step is definitely to lean on all the elected officials in the Democratic-led states, and then move on to the Republican-led states. We need you to make real change and pass this on a federal level.
We're going to do this.
Yay.
Yes,
It's time. It's time.
Taking
All
this
right.
national.
We're going to take it national. I like the way you approach this, Emerald, that you say we're going to do it in New York, we're going to do it in the states where we can, but at the same time, we're going to fight this at the national level. We're going to push this on every front.
Yes.
You two are tough women who are determined to get it done.
Yes.
And that's why I like fighting alongside you.
That means a lot.
Thank you.
We're going to do this. Yep, we will.